Hello, welcome to the Art of Shame-Free Living podcast. Today we're going to be talking about how to prepare for the holidays and prepare for the holidays in ways that are more than just like physical preparation, right? We often spend a lot of time thinking about what does somebody want and how are we going to have meals and what are we going to do with our family and all of that. But how much mental preparation are we doing? I like to think of mental, spiritual wellness work as being just as necessary as physical work. We don't just eat one meal and say, oh, I've eaten and I never have to eat again because now I've eaten. Or we don't go exercise and be like, I've exercised once, so I'm good for the rest of my life. Or I brushed my teeth once, I flossed my teeth once, now I never have to floss them. Nothing physical is just done. We regularly need support, help, have to work on it. And we just know that that's the case. We always have to eat. That's just what it takes to maintain our physical body. And I think the same is true with our spiritual body, with our heart, with our soul, with our wellness. And so I love to flip that in thinking, okay, so if I'm doing all of this physical preparation, am I doing just as much or more spiritual, mental wellness preparation in order for the holidays? The holidays can sometimes be really hard for people. It could be being without people that you love that are normally there. It could be a reminder of, how different your life is. Maybe this is your first year being divorced. Maybe this is your first year without a loved one. Maybe you wish that you had closer connections with your friends and family. Maybe it brings up a lot of drama, a lot of people in one room and everybody's not getting along. Maybe there's a lot of hurt, a lot of heartbreak. For whatever reason, often with the holidays, there's also stress. I think it comes with consumerism as well, with like buy, more, get the thing that everybody wants. I've been trying to come up with ways to do it this year that's like, how can I balance that? Where like people still get to open some things. I don't actually want more stuff. I don't think my kids need more stuff. I don't think any of us needs more stuff. In fact, I'd like even less stuff. I want to get back into minimalism. I've done that for years and I feel like I'm still kind of there-ish, but I'd love to do it even more. Well, I don't want the things so much. And I want the holiday season to be so much more about us spending time together. At some point in my minimalism journey, I realized that the reason that I was doing it was because of people. I wanted to spend time with people. I didn't want to spend time buying things, taking care of the things that I was buying, cleaning up the things that I was buying, fixing the things that I was buying. I wanted to spend time with people and that my having so much stuff was blocking the way that I wanted to live. And so as I got into minimalism, which I think we're still pretty minimalist compared to the norm probably, that I spent much less time cleaning, going out shopping, doing those kinds of things, which gave me more time to spend in relationships. So I think if you're like me, you probably have an ideal holiday in mind. What do you want the holidays to be like? So step one in preparing yourself for the holidays is to get clarity around what do I want that to be like? What would be like the most amazing holiday season? Now, these ideas I'm going to share with you tonight are ones I'm actually teaching at a class. Somebody asked me to come and speak to a women's group, and they specifically wanted kind of help with stillness and preparation for the holidays. And so this comes from that creation. This is like a little mini workshop for you. So number one is, what is the ideal? What do I want it to be like? What would be amazing if it was like? And really you can pause and actually ponder this. Even better if you get out your phone, or even better, a piece of paper and a pen, and actually write down every single thing. What is your ideal? Because we can't create what we don't know what we want. So first of all, what is the ideal? Second of all, I like to think about what struggles do I have thinking that that's possible. So if that was like wave a magic wand and like all of a sudden that came to be, and then your next idea, the next thoughts that come in are like, but that's impossible. That would mean other people have to change, circumstances have to change, all of these things. I want you to spend maybe like 60 seconds. Again, you can pause this or you can come back and do this exercise, but I would invite you to actually physically write this out on paper. Everything that comes to mind, no judgment, be as radically honest as possible. I always know that I'm being as radically honest as possible when I want to make sure that nobody ever reads the paper. I rip it up or I burn it or whatever, or I'm like, oh, I can't believe I think that. That's okay. It's okay for you to have all the thoughts. We're not going to judge our thoughts. We're just going to write them down. But I want you to really go to town, writing down for 60 seconds, everything that feels like it's blocking me from whatever this ideal is in the future. You can take a minute and do that. You can pause and do that truly. Just pause it right now and do it, and then come back and press play. Okay. The last thing I want you to do is, as you go through that list and you're reading through that list, there's probably some emotions that are coming up. There's probably some feelings that come up. In fact, you can go back and circle some of the more potent feeling ones. Like maybe one of your thoughts is, this is impossible for me. I feel lonely. I don't feel taken care of. I feel completely overwhelmed. There's too much to do. Anything that brings up a lot of emotion, I want you to circle those, or not even circle them, but just sit with them. Sit with each one and notice, how does it feel in my physical body? What sensations come into my physical body when I think about those thoughts? Because there's probably a lot. And once you've done that for a little bit, I invite you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I want you to imagine all of the thoughts kind of just releasing. Maybe they float up with the clouds and away. But we're going to stay with the feeling here that's present from those thoughts. Those thoughts are still with us, but in feeling form now. You probably feel them somewhere specific in the body. Maybe you feel them a lot in your head, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your legs, your stomach. I invite you to bring all of your awareness, all of your attention to the space where you feel it the most. And I invite you to pause. Stay with that feeling. Again, you can literally pause the recording and do this for as long as you need to. Really sit with it deeper. Allow yourself to feel as much as you feel like you can handle today. And if your brain is like, we can't handle very much right now, really ask it, are you sure? Can we handle a little more today? However much you can really let in. And just be there, sit with it, go to the depth of that feeling. And stay. I invite you to pause and stay for as long as you can stay. As deep as you can go, as many layers deep as you can get to in this feeling in the body, until you notice that it releases, it subsides in some way. But truly just pause and stay here with it. Once you've paused and you stayed there and you sat with it for some time and you've come back again, you've pressed play again, I invite you to then ask yourself to imagine something. Maybe you imagine that that feeling needs something. Doesn't have to make any sense. You can use your imagination. Maybe you want to bring in a blanket, a fire, a warm bath, whatever it might need. Doesn't have to make any sense. You could also imagine maybe it feels spacious, like you've created more space by sitting there with the thing. And then I'd invite you to imagine warm light or water pouring in through your head and down through the rest of your body. Whatever warm light, the liquid version of it feels like, so that it's filling every part. Okay, what does this have to do with preparing for the holidays? We're preparing emotionally and spiritually when we get out of our mind, we get into our body. We see what's really on our hearts. We sit with what's really on our hearts, with the feeling of it. And as we do, we feel the feeling and we feel safe to release. The healing is in the feeling. I've shared this before, but there's a poem called Guest House by Rumi. You can go look it up. There's lots of different iterations of it. But the idea being emotions come in. Sometimes they're a whirlwind and they just leave immediately. Sometimes they come in and they stay for a while. Welcome all of them. Welcome them more and more deeply. Open up that door and let them all in. And let them stay for as long as they want to stay. If I've done a practice like this and I still feel something inside, I'm like, that's okay. I can do it again. Or I can just tell it, you're safe to stay and you're safe to go whenever you're ready. And it's okay for me to feel this way. And sometimes when I'm feeling really heavy, the other day I felt really heavy and I didn't really know why. I just sat with it every day, a couple times a day, 3, 4, 5 days, and eventually it eased and I felt different. I shared the story of the monk and the student already, how the student went to the monk and was like, I feel terrible. And the monk was like, don't worry, you'll feel better. And he was like, you're right, I feel better a week later. And he's like, don't worry, you'll feel worse. That's the idea of like it moving through you, it passing through you. It's going to pass through. More will come. Something different will come. And that's okay. So awareness that we're feeling something throughout the holidays. When we notice, okay, there's some activation happening, pause, really actually pause, separate yourself, go lock yourself in a bathroom, go into a bedroom, take yourself out of that situation out of the mind into your body, wherever you're feeling it, and stay there for several minutes. Maybe add some breath, maybe add some movement if you want, but if not, just stay in the feeling, whatever you can do to guide yourself through that feeling. And then go back and reconnect, go back to your family. That will be so much more beneficial than you preparing a meal plan or who you're going to hang out with and what day you're going to spend time with and all of the different holiday parties that you have to go to. This will serve you more than any of that preparation. It truly will. So if you really want to prepare yourself for the holidays, the preparation comes in here and everything else will flow seamlessly out of that. And I also love the belief that I am enough, I do enough, I have enough. And I remind myself of that in the evenings when I go to bed. I've done enough today. It is good. It is done. It is full. I am full. So if your mind is still spinning but I have all of these things to do, get into the body, settle in, feel the feeling, and then give yourself that same reminder. I have enough. I am enough. I do enough. Okay. Thank you for being here today. We'll see you next week.